The Chennai Super Kings, once the very definition of consistency in the IPL, a team that didn't just win tournaments, they owned the league in more ways than one. But somewhere along the way, the Yellow Army lost its way. So what actually happened to CSK? How did the most reliable franchise in the IPL suddenly become a team you can't predict, and not in a good way either? Let's dive into it. To understand where CSK is right now, you have to understand what they were before. From the inception of the IPL in 2008 all the way to 2019, barring the 2016 and 17 seasons when they were banned from the league, CSK reached the playoffs every single time, making the final 8 times and winning 3 titles along the way. In 2010, 11 and then dramatically in 2018, right on their comeback year after a 2-year suspension. That is consistency at its finest, a different level entirely. But then came the 2020 season, the first time since the league began that CSK didn't make the playoffs. It was jarring and it felt wrong, but CSK being CSK bounced right back in 2021 and won the title, averting a crisis and keeping their legacy intact. Now this is where the cracks start to begin. 2022 was a significant year for CSK for one big reason: Mahendra Singh Dhoni stepping down as captain of the franchise. Thalapathy Ravindra Jadeja was handed the reins, and alongside that there was a bold call from the management. Chinnathala Suresh Raina, a man who had worn yellow his entire IPL career, was not retained. A player who is CSK in many ways was gone. A big move, and it didn't work at all. CSK lost 5 of their first 6 matches that season. The experiment failed so badly that MS Dhoni had to be handed the captaincy back mid-season. But still, the damage was already done and CSK missed out on the playoffs for the second time in 3 years. But then came 2023. What a comeback, what a story. CSK won their 5th title, MSD equaling Rohit Sharma's record for the most IPL titles as a captain, and it felt like a fairy tale season. The perfect ending, a perfect full stop on an unbelievable legacy. Then in 2024, the captaincy was handed over to Ruturaj Gaikwad. CSK played decent cricket through the season, but lost momentum in the back half and narrowly missed out on the playoffs. Concerning but not alarming just quite yet. But the next year was something else entirely. This wasn't a bad season, it was a crisis. After the 2025 mega auction, CSK came in with big names: Rahul Tripathi, Vijay Shankar, Devon Conway, Rachin Ravindra. On paper, everything looked solid, but in reality, their entire Indian core was badly out of form in domestic cricket. And here's the thing, CSK is known for reviving careers. They've taken players who seemed done and out and made them relevant again. But historically, they'd carry maybe one such player, sometimes two. Last year, it felt like the entire dressing room was in that category, top to bottom, out of form and out of rhythm. Shivam Dube was arguably the only informed batter, but what can one guy do when the entire team is struggling around him? And then, to make matters worse, Captain Ruturaj was ruled out for the second half of the season with injury. This is where things get uncomfortable for CSK fans. The problem with leadership and planning. And I say this with full respect because this isn't about MSD, it's about the management. When Ruturaj went down injured, who stepped in as captain again? Mahi, yet again. And look, Dhoni captaining CSK will always feel natural. He is that team. But think about what that actually tells you. It says that despite going through 2 captaincy transitions over the last 3 years, CSK still had no one they trusted to lead when their first choice wasn't available. No backup plan, no second options. They had already moved away from Jadeja as captain. Fair enough, that's a call they made. But when Ruturaj was injured, why wasn't there a young leader ready to step up? Why was the answer always to go back to MS? Now compare that to the Mumbai Indians. There was chaos when Hardik Pandya was announced as captain. Fans weren't happy, the whole situation was messy. But Mumbai Indians never went back on their word, never went back to Rohit, despite Rohit being one of the greatest captains in the history of the league. When Hardik missed matches, once last year, once this year, Surya stepped in as interim captain. Clean process, clean transition, and a clean succession. That's what a well-run franchise looks like. And then there's the broader issue. CSK have absolutely milked MS Dhoni's image and name, sometimes at the cost of building the next chapter of the franchise. He is and always will be the face of CSK. But you can't build a franchise's entire identity around one man indefinitely. At some point, you need to create the next face. And for CSK, for all their brilliance, they seem to have neglected that part entirely. Now, let's talk about where they stand now. Let's talk about this season. After the 2025 disaster that saw them finish bottom of the table, CSK made some moves. Jadeja was traded to the Rajasthan Royals and they brought in Sanju Samson. Some panic buying if we're being honest. They did get lucky with injury replacements. Ayush Matre, Dual Brevis and Urvil Patel came in to add some spark. But then the auction. CSK walked in with the second largest purse in the pool, 45 crores, and they spent 28.4 crores of that on two young players, Kartik Sharma and Prashant Veer. Over half their budget on two uncapped youth players, which meant they came into the season light on quality bowling, and it's starting to show. The Rajasthan Royals tore into their attack. RCB did the same. Even Delhi Capitals almost chased down a total with wickets falling. The bowling has been a serious vulnerability for them for a while now. That said, CSK got their first win of the season in their fourth match, and for a team that's been searching for confidence and momentum, that matters a very big deal. Small victories like these have a tendency to snowball into big ones. And up next for the Yellow Army is a clash against the men in purple and gold, KKR, who ironically are going through their very own rough patch. 3 losses from 4 games with 1 washout, and most recently they let a match against Lucknow Super Giants slip through their fingers after having it in the bag. LSG needed 30 of the last 10 deliveries and young Mukul Chaudhary pulled off the unthinkable. Whether KKR choked or Mukul won it for LSG depends on which fan you ask. A video on the Knight Riders and everything going wrong with them is already up on the channel. Go check it out after this one. But for CSK though, the blueprint still exists, the culture still exists, and as long as MSD is around, there's always something to believe in. But belief alone isn't a strategy. For CSK, the management needs to do better. The next chapter of the franchise needs to be written, not just hoped for. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are CSK a genuine contender this season, or is it another rebuild year? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed our content, smash that like button down below and subscribe to our channel. It helps us out incredibly. And for now, we'll see you in the next one. Glitch Lab signing out.